secular situation.
Yeah.
Kids, like, and I'm just, one student in particular who had just tremendous difficulties. He was a foster kid, and then he might not be able to stay with his family anymore, and, you know, just like how, yeah, so I think
That's a great example. That's different.
yeah.
Well, see, now you have the authority structure God set up, right? You've got parental authority, and it's a bummer because you can't override that. You can pray now against the enemy and that they will respond to God, that God will provide for that kid. Now, according to this one woman that I prayed for, according to her, now I didn't see this, but her son was transferred from a very harmful situation in one day after we prayed to a Christian home. But now, the new Christian home didn't know anything about authority or battling. Other people were heavily involved in occult practices and things. They tried to fight it through the court system, the Christian parents, and they lost. They fought the world's way, and they lost. The kid went back to that home. And so there's some different dynamics. But if you have an authority structure, like you can pray all you want, and if your pastor or your leader or your boss, they're in charge, if they're not, you can pray for the situation. It'd be better to pray for them as the authority and Jesus' authority over them, praying for a case like that now involving a judge. But that's a little bit more difficult because the focus would be on the authority person because they're making the decision. And so instead of praying like maybe for the kid, it might be good to start praying for that authority thing because that's where the decision needs to come from. That's one dynamic. There's probably more, and then there's other things like, oh, maybe the kid's got a mental disorder or he needs some medication. Maybe there's a bunch of factors. Maybe there's a whole system. But again, Lord, how should we pray about this? Where should we direct our prayers? Where should we go? And Steve, you know, this is what you want. I'm praying your promises for this kid. And, you know, and even what's crazy, and I don't like it, and I think, wouldn't we say that God allows things to go out a lot longer than we would, and that, you know, let's say that kid maybe 20 years from now, you'll find out, gosh, that kid is rocking the world for Jesus somewhere, and he had to go through all this crud that was allowed only because of sin in this world and the authority that he had, but God's hand. We see many people that have come out of horrendous situations, that PTSD to the 10th power, that they would have already died from one act they experienced. Most of us would die from that trauma, from one act of trauma like that, let alone years and multiple times, that God has sustained them, preserved them, gave them the ability to dissociate until they were at a safe place to heal. And that's an amazing thing to see, that he preserved them and the core of who they are to now respond to Jesus. And so I don't know how it all works. I've got questions like that too, but those are some things I would try.